Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari. Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna. Jaya Radha Madhava, Radha Madhava, Radha Madhava, Shri Radhe. Jai Jai Shri Radha Madhava Ki Jai, Shri Prahlad Lakshmana Singhadev Ki Jai, Srila Prabhupada Ki Jai. Jaya Jaya Shri Chaitanya Jaya Nityananda. Jaya Jaya Shri Chaitanya Jaya Nityananda. Jaya Jaya Shri Chaitanya Jaya Nityananda. Jaya Advaita Chanda Jaya Gaura Bhakta Vrinda. Jaya Jaya Shri Chaitanya Jaya Nityananda. Jaya Advaita Chanda Jaya Gaura Bhakta Vrinda. Hare Krishna. So wissen wir jetzt schon was für ein Vers? 20,4. Okay, machen wir so weiter. Okay. So we're reading from the Caitanya-caritāmṛta, chapter 20. Lord Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu instructs Sanatana Goswami in the science of the absolute truth. And here we continue verse number 5. Tumi ega jinda pira mahabhagavyam. Achso, das ist nichts. Okay. Tumi eka jinda pira mahabhagyavam. Kedaba Kurana Shastre Achetumarakyana. Okay, so lesen wir einfach. Sanatan, okay, Kishori, haben wir keine Übersetzung jetzt für dich, ja? Sushila, du kannst ein bisschen. Wollt ihr euch ein Buch holen? Haben wir noch eine deutsche Version? Einfach aus der Hüfte. Genau, so ist richtig. Wenn was unklar ist, dann könnt ihr ja fragen. Sanatana Goswami told the Muslim jail keeper, "Dear sir, you are a saintly person and are very fortunate. You have full knowledge of the revealed scriptures, such as the Quran and similar books." There comes Bashar. As if it would be meant for him. Huh? Yes. Come in, find out. Verse is written in the air, in the wind. We were not really sure. Okay, verse number 6. Ekabandi chadayadi nicha dharma dekhiya samsaraha ite tare mukta karina gosana. If one releases a conditioned soul or imprisoned person according to religious principles, he himself is also released from material bondage by the Supreme Personality of Godhead. But I'm quite sure that we had this before. Anyway, we read it again. Purport. By His Divine Grace, A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada Ki Jai. It appears from the statement that Sanatana Goswami, who was formerly a minister of the Nawab, was trying to cheat the Muslim superintendent. A jail superintendent had only an ordinary education, or practically no education. And he was certainly not supposed to be very advanced in spiritual knowledge. But just to satisfy him, Sanatana Goswami praised him as a very learned scholar of the scriptures. The jailkeeper could not deny that he was a learned scholar, because when one is elevated to an exalted position, one thinks oneself fit for that position. Sanatana Goswami was correctly explaining the effects of spiritual activity, and the jailkeeper connected his statement with his release from jail. There are innumerable conditioned souls rotting in the material world, imprisoned by Maya under the spell of sense gratification. The living entity is so entranced by the spell of Maya that in conditioned life even a pig feels satisfied. There are two kinds of covering powers exhibited by Maya. One is called Prakshepadmika and the other is called Avaranatmika. When one is determined to get out of material bondage, the Prakshepadmika Shakti, the spell of division, impels one to remain in conditioned life, fully satisfied by sense gratification. To the other power, Avaratmika, a conditioned soul feels satisfied even if he is rotting in the body of a pig or a worm in stool. To release a conditioned soul from material bondage is very difficult, because the spell of Maya is so strong. Even when the Supreme Personality of Godhead himself descends to deliver conditioned souls, asking them to surrender unto him, the conditioned souls do not agree to the Lord's proposal. Therefore, Sri Sanatana Goswami said, somehow or other, if one helps another gain release from the bondage of Maya, he is certainly recognized immediately by the Supreme Personality of Godhead. As Lord Krishna states in the Bhagavad Gita 1869, Nacha tasman manusheshu kaschimme priya kritmana bhavita na cha me tasmat anya priyataro bhuvi. The greatest service one can render to the Lord is to try to infuse devotional service into the heart of the conditioned soul, so that the conditioned soul may be released from the conditioned life. Srila Bhaktivinoda Thakur has said that a Vaishnava is recognized by his preaching work. That is, by convincing the conditioned souls about his eternal position, which is explained here as Nitya-dharma. It is the living entity's eternal position to serve the Lord. Therefore, to help one get released from material bondage is to awaken one to the dormant understanding that he is the eternal servant of Krishna. Jiva Svarupahaya Krishna Nityadasa. Hey Charu. This will be further explained by the Lord himself to Sanatana Goswami. Om Agnanatimundasya Kinananchana Shlakaya Chakshu Midamyena Tasmei Shikarave Namaha Sri Chaitanya Manopishtam Sthapiramyena Bhutale Swayam Rupakaramyam Dadati Swaparantikam Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadada Shivasari Gaura Bhaktabrinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare. Okay, we say something to this to kind of connect. I'm pretty sure that we started at 24, but we read to this point as well. But this was not written in the description of the video. Maybe we should do this. Then we read to another verse. Okay, so yeah, it seems like that Sanatana Goswami tried to make a little lie here. He tried to cheat the jail keeper, but for the sake of a higher purpose, he made kind of a trick. So he not directly cheated him. He was just telling, kind of bended a little bit the truth, as they say. Right, when on the battlefield of Kurukshetra, Yudhishthira was asked to announce what he should announce. It was a big announcement. Ashwatthama is dead. But they said, and he was meant to say Ashwatthama, the son of Dronacharya, is dead. What was not true. But there was another elephant on the battlefield. And his name was also Ashwatthama. So Yudhishthira, of course, he is who? Yudhishthira is who? Dharmaraj. So he never tells a lie. He can't tell a lie. And it was said that he was so truthful always that his chariot even, and when he walked, he was always a little bit, no, how you say? Floating, yeah, but there's a hovering. No, the hovering is, no, there's elevate, no, how you say? Huh? Levitating, yeah, he was levitating somehow. A little bit over the ground. And so he never told a lie, and he said, as Dharmaraj, how I can do this? And Krishna said, because I ask you for this. And he said, but he still felt kind of, And then Bhima said, no problem, there's this elephant Ashwatthama, but he's also not dead. So no problem for Bhima, he went there and slammed the elephant. And then he said, now Ashwatthama is dead. And I heard it in different times that then Yudhishthira called out, Ashwatthama! The elephant is dead! Right? And but of course he knew that this was an announcement what actually should kind of convince Dronacharya that his son is dead. Kind of to make him so sad that he drops his weapons, sits on the floor meditating, and then he was supposed to be killed. By whom? Who was the killer of Dronacharya? Oh, Charlie, no. Huh? Drishtadyumna. Oh, yeah, right. Drishtadyumna. Yeah, this I also forgot. Drishtadyumna. And so this was all a little bit on the borderline. But because of bending the truth, the goal was still achieved. Same way here, Sanatana Goswami, he used this trick of bending the truth a little bit, that he said, if one releases one, if one helps one to get released out of the jail, of course, Sanatana Goswami meant the jail of material bondage. One gets a higher benefit. But the jail keeper understood, okay, when I release him out of the jail where he's right in. Right? So this was a little bit bending the truth. And then Sanatana Goswami, he continues, previously I have done much for you. Now I am in difficulty. Please return my goodwill by releasing me. Now he touches the ground. Now he's stopping beating around the bush. He says, I did so much for you in previous time, because Sanatana Goswami was was a governor, was kind of a magistrate, and he had he had to deal with him also sometimes. So he said, I did lots for you. Now you do please something for me. Panchasasramuttharatu mikare angikara punya artha dui laba ha ibe tumara. Here are 5,000 gold coins. Please accept them. By releasing me, you will receive the results of pious activities and gain material profit as well. Thus, you will profit in two ways simultaneously. Now, with this statement, he wipes away all doubts in the jailkeeper's mind. Right? He brings 5,000 good reasons to release him, and another one on top. Tabe se yavane kahe suna mahashai tomare chaditya kindu kari rachabai. In this way, Sanatana Goswami convinced the jailkeeper, who replied, please hear me, my dear sir, I am willing to release you, but I am afraid of the government. Yeah. And this is, of course, also a very, a good concern what the jailkeeper brings then out, because of course there will be an investigation how it could be. Did the jailkeeper fall asleep? Was he inattentive? Or did he give him the key? What happened? And then there's a reply from Sanatana Goswami. Sanatana kahe dumina kara racha bai dakshina gityache yadi loite doyai tanhare kahiho se baya krita gela gangara nikada ganga deki janpa dila. Sanatana replied, there is no danger. The Nawab has gone to the south. If he returns, tell him that Sanatana went to pass stool near the bank of the Ganges, and that as soon as he saw the Ganges, he jumped in. Anika dekila tare lakna paila datuka sahita dubi kahanvahi gela. Tell him, I looked for him a long time, but I could not find any trace of him. He jumped in with his shackles, and therefore he was drowned and washed away by the waves. So this now gives the alibi. You say in English also alibi? Alibi. An alibi to the jailkeeper, who then well, it seemed in this time that the jail didn't have a separate toilet. So it was tradition, so they went still outside, or they had to go outside to pass stool. And the god was supposed to look after him. But then he said, in this moment, he just jumped in the Ganga, and he had such heavy shackles. Now, Charu, when somebody was imprisoned, what they did, they put chains on his feet. And on these chains, they had a big iron ball that he could not walk very quick. So he could not really run away. But Sanatana Goswami was jumping in the Ganga, and he was drowning. This is what the jailkeeper should tell the Muslim ruler. Right? So this was a perfect alibi. What? So don't tell about movies. Nur Trickfilme. Joe, don't be too truthful in Bhagavatam class. So yeah, this is what happens. So now it's a very the whole section actually is very is very instructive. Why it's instructive? Why it's instructive? What is the title of this chapter? Yes, to Sanatana Goswami. So he instructs Sanatana Goswami. What mainly he instructs him about?
So is this the same chapter mentioned in Teachings of Lord Chaitanya?
Sure. Yes, love of God, but when he teaches to Rupa Goswami, he tells a little bit different thing. There are three main teachings in the Caitanya-caritāmṛta. Yeah, but who are these three conversations? Yeah, and who else we have? What else conversation do we have in Caitanya-caritāmṛta? Or instructions, kind of bigger conversations. Let's call it like this. Ramananda Roy, and that could be then. Yeah, Prayojana. And then Rupa Goswami. I mean, this is another. Well, yeah, we can say like that. I also think that he uses Rupa Goswami and Sanatana Goswami to teach them. Lord Mahaprabhu teaches directly to Rupa Goswami and Sanatana Goswami. And the Rupa Goswami, he speaks more about the topic of rasa. Therefore, Rupa Goswami is the Rasa Raj, or the Jai Shishipad Lakshmi Shingadev Ki Jai. How we called followers of Rupa Goswami? Rupa Nugas, yes. So, but when he speaks to Sanatana Goswami, he speaks much about tattva, right? He speaks about all these technical terms, where then Rupa Goswami compiled a very much important book. Charu? Yeah, not quite, but something. Sanatana Goswami, and he compiled a book. No. Sanatana Goswami, who wrote what a book? Yes, Hari Bhakti Vilas, where all the detailed how one should approach and worship the Lord, what is the relationship, like this. So, and then when he speaks to Ramananda Roy, actually, the Lord is not really instructing him. Well, indirectly, who's instructing or who's speaking to whom actually in this conversation? Yes, Ramananda Roy, he speaks actually to Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, and he tells him about all the very advanced topics. So, in this way, Gauranga Mahaprabhu, he shows also that, or he gives somebody else the opportunity to preach to him. He receives this knowledge, and in this way, he shows also how one should receive such a topic. Now, when Gauranga Mahaprabhu, this all happened in what period? These three conversations happened in what period? Okay, so we had the period of Navadvip, where the Lord was basically doing what? Yeah, he got his education, he grew up, he got his education, and then he was starting to do Naga Sankirtan, as they say. Naga Sankirtan, meaning on one place, right? And then there were different incidences where, for example, the Mridanga was broken, and then he kind of even organized a riot, right? And then what happened? Okay. Then it happened that the Lord more and more, he got also in this period, he went where? He made a travel to Gaya. And what happened there? He got initiation, yes. And from this point on, what happened to him? Well, yeah, his mood changed toward prema. I mean, of course, he had prema already, but he exhibited more and more the symptoms of prema. And when he came back to Navadvip, he was not the same anymore. So his students, they could not in the same way relate to him, because when he explained a very, for example, a grammatical topic, he all explained it in the light of Krishna. He used Krishna and his pastimes to explain everything. What was for some students very enlivening, for some students a little bit bewildering. And it came to one point that one student wanted to visit him at home, and Mahaprabhu was, or in this time, Nimai Pandit, he was sitting there and was chanting Gopi, 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 Gopi. And then the student said, why you chant Gopi, Gopi, Gopi? You're supposed to chant the name of Vishnu. At least chant Krishna. And when Mahaprabhu heard the name Krishna, he said, oh, why you call this Krishna? Don't mention this name here. I don't want to hear this name of this debauchee. He said, a debauchee is one who's cheating, especially cheating on women. And when the student heard this, he said, he went mad. He went mad and said, you cannot tell this. How you can call Krishna a debauchee? He is the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Don't you know you're supposed to be Nimai Pandit? You can't chant Gopi, Gopi, you chant Krishna. And then Mahaprabhu, he took a stick and said, get out of here. And he was running after him and tried to beat him. And the student was running away, run to the other students and was telling them, you know what happened? I just escaped with my single life. I can't be happy. You should be happy that you see me alive in front of you, because Nimai Pandit tried to kill me. And by the way, he went mad. He became crazy because he's chanting Gopi, Gopi, Gopi. He doesn't speak about Krishna anymore, only Gopi. So we have to do something about him. And then some students, they started to make some kind of politics against him. And on this point, Mahaprabhu, he understood, my time in Navadvip is basically, I can't do here anything anymore. It's like the same, is the saying, the prophet in his own country doesn't count, or how you say it in English? It's not recognized, yeah. You may give Bhagavatam class in your own temple, speaking about very elevated subjects, but everybody else is falling asleep because they know you. Yeah, we hear this so many times. Come on, when is breakfast time? Just stop. If this person goes to another temple and speaks about this, then you think, wow, that's so nice, we never heard about this. Right? So Mahaprabhu, he thought that's basically, it's enough for Navadvip. I have to go. I have to go. I have to do what? I have to take sannyas. So there's several reasons why the Lord took sannyas, but one of them is that to be recognized and to be heard and basically free myself out of this family village environment of Navadvip. Let's get out of here. Let's go on a travel. Right? And so he went to Katwa. There he got sannyas. And then he went where? First of all, he got sannyas. What his first mindset was? Vrindavan. And he became completely ecstatic. Therefore, it happened that he could not go to Vrindavan. Because why he could not go to Vrindavan? Huh? No, not in the beginning. Nobody was following him. But what happened? But why he brought him back? No, not Advaita Acharya. He went the wrong way, but why he went the wrong way? Lord Nityananda, somebody who's very dear to him, told him, Vrindavan, oh, very good, this way. Look, here's already Yamuna. And Mahaprabhu said, oh, Yamuna, and jumped in with his clothes. And Nityananda went to one of a cowherd boy, instruct him, over there is Shandipur. Go there to the house of Advaita Acharya. Tell him he should come by boat. And pick the Lord up. Here's Mahaprabhu. And then Advaita Acharya, he came by boat. And he picked him up. He saw him first, but it was the first darshan what he had of Nimai Pandit with shaved head and saffron clothes. So his heart was very heavy in one side. On the other side, it was very uplifted because he thought, now finally I get this very precious darshan of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu as a sannyas. And guess what, my dear Lord, I have just cooked something. And Mahaprabhu came out of the Yamuna and said, Advaita, what are you doing here? Nityananda, are you in Vrindavan? And Advaita said, no, Vrindavan, nothing. Here is over there is Shantipur. This is Ganga. And Nityananda, you cheated me. You rascal. No, actually he didn't cheat you. Because technically on this side is flowing still the Yamuna. But when they come together in Prayag, the side, I think the western or the eastern side, I forgot how it was. One side is still Yamuna, other side considered to be Ganga. So it's still Yamuna, no cheating, don't worry. You must be hungry, you didn't eat for, when you got initiation? 3 days ago? Come on, you must be hungry. Come to my house, I just cooked some rice and a handful of, some simple vegetables from my garden, something what I'm growing there, my wife or something. It's just very simple. Just come to my house. So they went to Advaita Acharya's house with Nityananda, and of course there was a huge feast. And Mahaprabhu was, no, I'm sannyasi, I can't eat so much. And Nityananda said, what is this? This is nothing. I fasted for 3 days. Today is another fasting day. Because this will just fill, a hole in my tooth. That's not so much. Anyway, the Lord actually wanted to go in another direction. The Lord went to take sannyas, then he went where? Because another thing happened when he was at the house at Advaita Acharya. Who came to this house? The mother of Nimai. And of course, then Nimai realized and said, oh my mother, I think I became mad. I'm so stupid. How I can leave you alone? Now you have nobody. His father was dead already. His brother took sannyas, but as we find out later on, he also left his body. You have nobody else. Only my so-called widowed or leftover wife. Huh? So you two ladies without protection, and you are elderly lady as well. So I think I must become mad. But I took sannyas, please forgive me. But you tell me where I should be. And his mother said, well, you can't come home anymore. You took sannyas. That would be a mockery to your ashram. So we can't do this. But at least stay near. And since Jagannath Puri is considered another room in the same house, so Orissa and Bengal, they're very close together. So he said, it's just like another room in the same house. So why you don't stay in Orissa? Why you don't make a residence in Jagannath Puri? Very well, we should go to Jagannath Puri. Coming there, the Lord had, of course, another conversation where what didn't went so successful like the other ones, with whom he had a conversation there. With Sarvabhauma Bhattacharya, who also tried to teach the Lord something, but the Lord refuted it all and turned it all around, so Sarvabhauma Bhattacharya became a Vaishnava. And then the Lord there was preaching there and was also making Naga Sankirtan on one place. But then in one point he thought, this what I have, this gift, what I bring to the world is so precious. I have to give it out. I can't make only Naga Sankirtan, because same thing will happen. I have to spread it. And then the Lord went on a mission, and this was his mission. He went to South India, and on this travel, all these things happened. He came to Prayag, instructed wait a second. Yeah. Where did he meet Rupa Goswami? Prayag in Varanasi. He came back from Vrindavan, yeah. So he went on a long tour, and on this tour he also met Ramananda Roy. So it was all on this traveling. So it seems like Gauranga Mahaprabhu, he went on a mission to preach. He did preaching. And his main preaching, of course, was what? Harinam Sankirtan. When Gauranga Mahaprabhu was preaching or was chanting the holy name, because he had this prema, he had this power, that it was overflowing like a pot. You always fill, it's overflowing. And because he had this prema within, everybody who came in contact was immediately convinced. Not convinced, he was touched, because the Lord, with the chanting of the holy name of the Hare Krishna Maha Mantra, it contains the spiritual world, it contains Vrindavan. And not only that, it contains actually the core of Vrindavan. What is the core? The core happening in Vrindavan. The rasa dance. Yeah. And this is some kind of game, what sometimes I try to meditate upon this. When you have Hare and Krishna, you have Hare is Radhe or Gopi, and Krishna is Krishna. Then you have always pairs normally. You have Radha and Krishna, or somebody who resembles Radharani, means another Sakhi, another Gopi. So you have them dancing them. When we have when you have a dance, it's always like Radha and Krishna, Radha and Krishna. Then the second pair, it turns around. They're turning. So they have Radha Krishna, they have Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna. Then they turn around. Then you have then suddenly two Krishnas come together and two Radharanis come together. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Make sense? A little bit, okay, whatever. So, since the Lord contains this whole power in him and spreading him, everybody who came in contact was immediately transformed. Because when somebody has prema, he doesn't have to make it up. There was one incident where Haridas Thakur, he was in his village where he lived previously. I forgot the name. He saw actually a snake charmer. And when he saw you know what is a snake charmer? Kannst dich noch erinnern? You remember this boys who came with a snake on the rickshaw where we were standing when we went to Vasana, when we went to Vasana from Vrindavan. You have to go on a track on a road, and there you come always to a railway station, and this railway station is always closed, and you always have this boys coming with the baskets, and in these baskets there are snakes. The first time we went with a closed taxi, with a car, so we could close the windows. Second time we went to what's it called? By Nandakram, there's Vrindakund. We went there, and we took a rickshaw, a motor rickshaw, but I forgot we come in the same track. And again, everything was closed. And again, this boys came with the snakes, but we couldn't close any windows. So Chara and Murari, and of course my wife, they were freaking out because of these little snakes coming out. So snake charmer. And when Haridas Thakur saw the snakes, what he was thinking immediately? What? He was thinking about senses. I don't think so. What he was thinking, which pastime he was thinking? Was Kaliya pastime. He was immediately thinking about Krishna. And he went complete in ecstasy, fall on the ground. He was rolling in ecstasy, and everybody was so amazed. And they started to throw money at him. And they glorified him and said, wow, that's so amazing. That's Haridas Thakur. And there was one person standing in the crowd. And he was thinking, oh, that's very good. That's very good. See how easily one can make money. People are so stupid. They throw money at him just because he's rolling on the floor. See how stupid these people are. Tomorrow, I will make the same. So next time he came to the snake charmer, many people were attracted by the snakes. And then this person, he was, oh! And he ran on the floor, and he was rolling on the floor, and he was crying and screaming. And everybody was like, what's wrong? And then the snake charmer, he took a stick and beat him, and get out of here, get out of here. Because everybody could recognize that this is not genuine love of Godhead. This is just, like a theater, like a show, right? So this is what happened if somebody really has this as taste for the holy name. He doesn't have to convince somebody. It's automatically that people are attracted. And this is the power of chanting the holy name as clean as we can. So meaning when we go on the street and we're chanting the holy name, we should not look at the shops, we should not look at the girls or the boys. So I should look in this direction when I say boys. we should not look at the toys, I said. We should not look at the ice cream shops. Huh? We should really try to when we say Krishna, we should think of Krishna. When we say Hare, we should think of Radharani. And then they will start to dance on our tongues, right? And in this way, we can try at least to bring as much as our capacity allows us, bring the spiritual world on the street of Passau, or wherever we are, right? And then when Mahaprabhu, he came back to Jagannath Puri, his preaching tour actually was over. His mission was over. And on this point, he just put the lid on the top and built up the pressure in himself. He didn't preach anymore. He didn't try to convince anymore. He did not make any interreligious dialogue anymore, as he was doing in Navadvip, for example. He had an interreligious dialogue with whom? With the Chatkasi, yes. And it was a very nice interreligious dialogue. He had interreligious dialogue in Vrindavan with whom? Just when they went out of Vrindavan, something happened. The Lord went in ecstasy and fall over and was how to say? Fainted, was unconscious, right? And then some Muslim soldiers came. You know, huh? Yeah, they called the Patan, and the how to say, the chief of them, he was all dressed in black and was described as a Muslim mystic or something like that. So and then he had some interreligious dialogue with him. Who else made Mahaprabhu interreligious dialogue on his journey? With the Buddhists, yeah. This was quite a violent, how to say, baptism. Yeah. He never did. I mean, with Buddhists, he really gave them out hard, right? Huh? No, he didn't do anything, but but they also tried to cheat him in a not nice way, one must say, give him some untouchable food. But then, when he came back to Jagannath Puri, it was all, his preaching was over. He just built up his intensity, his love and his intensity, and he kind of kept it sealed. It only came out in what occasions? What was Puri famous for? On the Ratha Yatra, there it came out, where he sprayed everybody with his tears. It's like this. When I was a child, we had this weather house. We had this last time as well. One goes out from this door and somebody comes into that door. You remember weather house? When it was good weather, then the lady came out from this side, and when it was bad weather, the man came out with an umbrella from that side. Anyway, reminded me just again. So yeah, in the Ratha Yatra, there it was like, but because what is Ratha Yatra? What is Ratha Yatra? What does it stand for? From where? From Dwarka. No, Dwarka, yeah, but where it happened? In Kurukshetra, yes, right. So this was then actually where Mahaprabhu really changed completely his mood, and he really took on the mood of the gopis, right? So much that he sprayed everybody in the crowd, that he appeared like in the rasa dance. He appeared in each and every kirtan group, and everybody who was in the kirtan group was thinking the Lord is directly responding with me. You know, there were, as a description, there's so many Mitanga how many groups, somebody know? 14 groups or something? I don't know. And in each group there were I must speculate, one has to look it up, it's there. So many Mridanga players, the Lord really organized it, he really went in detail. Who is singing, who's responding, who's playing Mridanga, who's playing quarters, who is dancing, who's leading the dance. And then the Lord, he visited all these different groups. But everybody thought the whole time he was in our group. Just like in Madhya-līlā, right? So, and then it went so far that the Lord basically couldn't do anything anymore. And he could not keep it. This prema, what he felt, was so strong that he could not keep it in himself. But still, he very hard tried to. And then what happened? What happened to him? It was so strong that his body became transformed, deformed even. Right? He could not keep his normal human form anymore. So this was the specific of this time, and it became so how to say, so difficult to keep this prema inside of him that finally he had to send for Advaita Acharya. Whom did he send to Advaita Acharya? Who was very, very close to Chaitanya Mahaprabhu from his childhood, but had always a special relationship. Huh? Gadadhar also, but there was another person whom he knew from Navadvip. No, but he was not situated in Jagannath Puri with the Lord. No. Chagananda Pandit. And he sent him because he called him Chakai. No, he said, Chakai is so, he can't, because the Mahaprabhu didn't want to have anything to do with bodily comfort anymore. It just didn't bother him. He was rubbing his face against the wall, that he had injuries all over his face. Just imagine this beautiful face of Mahaprabhu, how we imagine it, or is described to us, or how we see pictures. This face is full of injuries, like blue spots, and like, how you say this, scratches, yeah, and then the blood is drying, and then you have this scamps, yeah. I mean, the Lord must have looked terrible from an outside, from a material point of view. And he even didn't want to sleep. He just slept on the floor, but it was cold, and the devotees were thinking how we can just put something under him. And Jagananda Pandit was all the time thinking of how to comfort him. And the Lord didn't want to take this comfort. And then Jagai became very angry about him and said, you don't know anything, and you just leave me alone, like the incidents with the oil, right? Because Jagananda Pandit was whom in Krishna-līlā? Huh? No? Satyabhama. She was also a little bit fiery. She gave out to Krishna. So Jagananda Pandit as well. And to get kind of a relief of him, Mahaprabhu was sending Jagananda Pandit constantly somewhere. You should go. Oh no, I mean, in this point, because he was so angry with the Lord, Jagananda Pandit, he said, I want to leave here. I don't want to see you anymore. I want to go to Vrindavan. I want to go to Vrindavan. I go to Vrindavan. Right? And then he came back, and then Mahaprabhu said, you know what? Best is, go to the devotees of Navadvip and bring them some Mahaprasadam. Go to my mother. And when you went to my mother, you go to Advaita Acharya. And when he went to Advaita Acharya, what happened there. He told Advaita Acharya, said, this is Mahaprasadam, and I'm going back to Puri, but Acharya, do you have a message? So who remembers this message? Advaita Acharya said, yes, I have a message. Tell the Lord that rice is no longer in demand in the marketplace. And the one who got the rice went mad. And everybody else in the marketplace also went mad. And Jagannath Pandit was laughing and he left. And when he came to Puri, all the devotees were sitting there and was thinking over, saying, okay, so what's the news? What's the news? How's everybody? What are the devotees doing in Navadvip? It's like somebody comes from Mayapur, you ask, oh, how is Pradyumna Mishra doing? He's still making his videos, and asking about all the devotees. So they were asking about everybody. And I said, and how is the Advaita Acharya? Is he still alive? Can he still, because he was an old man, how he's doing, And Jagannath said, yes, he's still alive. And he sent a message. Oh, what was the message? What did he send? And he said, rice is no longer in demand in the marketplace. And the one who had the rice became mad. And everybody else also became mad. And everybody was, what? I think maybe Advaita Acharya became a little mad. And Ramananda Roy was asking, what does it mean? He got some understanding. Swarup Damodar knew exactly what happened. And the others was just asking Mahaprabhu, what he's saying? And Mahaprabhu said, that's the instruction of the Acharya, what can I do? Advaita Acharya knows perfectly how to install a deity. Then he worships this deity. And when he's finished with his worship, he sends him away. So that's the secret. Advaita Acharya sent Mahaprabhu away. He told him, your pastime is over. Because he was the one who installed him. He was the one who called him from the spiritual world in this universe. He installed him here. And then he said, in the marketplace is no sufficient rice. So meaning the prema is brought here to the earth. There is sufficient prema now in the marketplace. And everybody who tasted this prema became mad, like the madman. The madman, of course, was Gauranga Mahaprabhu. So from this point on, Mahaprabhu was, he just went more and more, day by day, he went more and more mad, one can say. And this is the pastime. And of course, we are all still part in this pastime. But in order to in order to really become part of it, we gradually have to work on losing taste for matter, for this material world. But because this is still what keeps us. This is what keeps us. And this is normal. It's nothing. I have to be honest with myself. I still have taste for matter. There I am. Right? I sometimes still have a taste to go on YouTube, what we didn't have before. I gave it all up. My whole record collection I gave away. Somebody sold it for me on eBay. What was in this time still around, was still new, but somebody sold it and got, 30% of it. But I got rid of all my debts when I went to the temple, because before I went to the ashram, I went to India, and all my money was, I went so much in debt. But anyway, so when I came to the temple, I had a big need of some kind of modern music. And I remember there was, for example, one CD was very popular in this time. It was The Village of Peace, right? The Village of Peace. And not all, I never was so keen on reggae, but somehow it was something different. So when still nowadays, I'll go on YouTube and, how was the song? How was the song actually? How was this song sounds? So I still have some taste for it. Sometimes it's not only, cannot live only by rice, sabji and dal, because somehow my stomach is not trained of digesting it so well, especially if there's lots of ghee and stuff inside. And of course it's Mahaprasadam. But what can I do? I go better with bread. So I have to bake bread. Yeah, I know you will say this. Yeah. But this is the. Still we have some taste for things what reminds me and connects us to this life before, and we still have taste for matter. And as long matter matters for us, spirit cannot so much touch us. But the more we working on losing the taste for matter and building up a taste for spiritual things, the more we can enter into this higher relationship. And this, of course, it's different facets of it. And I don't say having prema is a sign of having prema is wearing a dhoti or wearing unstitched clothes. This is not a sign of prema. And also eating only rice, sabji and dal is not a sign of prema, but the conscious behind it, with what we're eating, with the sense of I enjoy it for myself, what is natural, this has to go. This is what I wanted to say. So I know I'm very, very far away from that, and I can only progress if I be in the association of Vaishnavas. Without the association of Vaishnavas, it's not possible. It doesn't work. Not for me. Maybe for somebody, but not for me. And Tetras has to go now. And so I'm asking all of you, please give me your blessings that I can be in your association, and that I, in this way, make advancement, and that you can please tolerate me, my faults, my misconceptions, my sometimes rough behavior, my sometimes choking too much, and maybe sometimes the chokes are a little bit too much under the belt line. Don't know. Please consider me a neophyte and on the way a child in the bhakti process, and maybe one day. I remember just to describe myself, I was fortunate to spend some time in Vasana back in the days, just because it was my last breath of being a brahmachari, what I didn't know in this time. But I was fortunate to be in Vasana, and you went Vasana? Yeah. And there is this school of Ramesh Baba, right? Where they dance in the night. Okay. So there is in the night they have to stand where these girls, they're spinning and spinning and spinning. It's like a gurukul for girls, where this Baba, he trains them. It's not ISKCON style, but he is very friendly. There's a good relationship. So they're spinning, and he trains these girls to be gopis, to meditate upon gopi bhav, basically. It's not that we should do that, but whatever. But it's very, very attractive, not because of these girls, because these girls, they're completely covered. It has nothing to do with some erotic or something like that. They're really spinning for hours, spinning. And they also don't crush in each other. They're They're like flowers spinning with, I mean, it's really amazing, it's incredible. And it looks so gracious that one has to look at. It's so captivating to watch these girls. Not, and it's really, you don't watch them because they're girls, you watch them because it's so gracious. I cannot describe it otherwise. And outside on the side, there was a little girl, and she was handicapped. She had some hip problem. She could not walk very much. But her mother, he made her kind of a skirt, what looked like the skirt of this girl was dancing there. And she tried again, she tried to dance, and she would spin, 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 and then she would stumble and fall over. She would again stand up and spin, 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 and then fall over again, because she was handicapped, because of her bad hip, this little girl. And when I was looking at this girl, I was thinking, this is the same way I am here. I'm in the association of Vaishnavas. There's so much exalted, we in such a line of so exalted Vaishnavas. And I'm just trying to imitate them. I can't really spin with them, because I'm falling again and again. But I keep on trying. This is what it's just, you keep on trying. This is what they always taught us in the beginning of on the street on Sankirtan. Einfach weitermachen. Just continue. So this is what I'm just asking you. Please give me your blessings that I just can continue. Even if I fall, please help me up and let me continue. Thank you very much. Hare Krishna. Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Ananta Kodi Vaishnava Vrinda ki jai. So I guess I spoke everybody out. There's no time for questions. Oh, you have some comments or something? You want to say something? Anybody? No? Okay. So, Grandaraj. Oh no. Sri Caitanya-caritāmṛta ki jai. Ananda Kodi Vaishnava Vrinda ki jai. Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Nitai Gaur Premanandi Hari Hari Bol. So, Charu.